Playing with pumpkins today. Getting ready to throw these into the oven and start roasting. Gonna be practicing with these pumpkins today. And I'm making some breakfast. So I'm doing a little of both. But I just thought I'd hang out. I was kind of bored. So I just thought I'd come in and say hello and have some company while I'm messing around. So if everybody can hear and see me okay, if anybody's watching, just hit the like button for me so I know you're there. That would be pretty cool. I'm just taking out my breakfast right now. Making some hash browns and eggs. Oh, Coward, what's up, buddy? If you can hear and see me okay, just hit that like button for me. I'd appreciate it. But I'm just messing around with this. I'm about to throw these in. I've got them cleaned out as best as I can, and I want to see how well these Concord or Connecticut field pumpkins do for making pies and such. And so I got that, and then we're going to separate. I got the seeds over there for the first one, and I'll probably crack another one open here in a minute. I'm kidding. All right, very cool, very cool. All right, so let me make some room. I've got the oven set to 375. It's already warmed up. Do a double take, make sure there's nothing in there. Because if you're a cast iron person, you know there's always a piece of cast iron in the oven. So I'll move this out of the way. I already this morning I got up and I made dough for English muffins. So I'm trying out a lot of stuff today. It's kind of one of those trial and error kind of days, more than anything. Always something in there. Yeah, there's always something in there. I always hate when it's something that shouldn't be in there, and it has the, and it still has the, what do you call it? Still has the handle grips on there. Board's looking a little dry. I forgot to get walrus oil when I was at the store yesterday, because I'm out of cutting board oil. And I'm going to make another trip back to the store at some point today. I'm just going to be on here for a little while, prepping up for tonight. We'll be doing a normal live stream as per usual. Move this out of the way because I'm back here. I'll show you. I'm actually got my pan back here. I'm making breakfast. I haven't had anything yet, so that's what we're doing. I'm going to crack a couple eggs before I get started. With separating these seeds from the gunk. Because I just got done cutting that one pumpkin and making breakfast at the same time. Like I said, I was just bored. I didn't have anybody to talk to. The dog's cool, but some days she's just not much of a conversationalist. I hear clickety clickety. Yeah, she's running around here, so she's in and out, buzzing around, doing her thing. Doing beagle stuff. So let me get a knife, cut my butter out for my eggs. So I'm gonna do that while I'm messing. Like I said, I'm just here messing around today, getting ready for. I'm trying to get this puree thing perfected as well as I can perfect it before Sunday when we do the big pumpkin marathon show. And I think there's still 12 pumpkins out there that could possibly be used. Are the muffins hard to make? No, they're actually not. They were really, as far as sourdough goes, they're not hard to make at all. I was really surprised at how easy that all went together. I gotta keep remembering that I'm using salted butter instead of my normal unsalted butter, which I did get salted butter. I did actually finally, after 5 straight weeks, to be totally transparent, I finally went to the grocery store after 5 weeks. And I wasn't too happy about it. Because the garden's starting to slow down, so I actually needed things. I actually had to buy, I had to get green peppers, and I never get more mad than if I have to go get green peppers from the store after having garden peppers all summer, because That is to me, that's a fate worse than death, because the garden peppers are so much better than the ones out there. Mercy B, what's going on? Blocks World, hello. Yellow. Oh, we got all kinds of folks showing up. I was talking, when I first started, it was just me and Ronald Coward, and I was just kind of having a conversation with him. Now I turn around and there's all kinds of folks in here. But yeah, I'm just making some breakfast. I'm going to get this so I can kind of have this off to the side and eat, because I'm getting what they call, what my grandmother used to call, I'm getting a little peckish. And cheers my friend, how are we today? Good. Whitey Ozark Raven, what's up buddy, how are you? Good to see you. But yeah, I'm just making some eggs, and then we'll start cleaning those seeds out and getting them separated. And it was pretty cool. My mom last night, she called me up and sent me my Gram's recipe for pumpkin pie, which is pretty much standard, but she does things a little bit differently. So we might make, not today, but maybe Sunday we'll make Graham's recipe for pumpkin pie. We always use, what type of seeds? What type of seeds for what, my friend? Ozark Raven. What, seeds for what? As far as the pumpkins go, the pumpkins are, Connecticut field pumpkins. They're not ideal for making pumpkin pies and stuff with, but they can still work. I did it last year. Usually normally I just make the I grow the pumpkins for the kids, but my kids have all grown up this year, and so I'm stuck with a ton of pumpkins. So I'm gonna sort out today, at some point, and tomorrow, which ones I'm gonna keep and which ones that I'm just gonna set out by the road, and probably put a donation box out there and people can donate whatever they want for the pumpkins, because I've got way too many. Yeah, give a like everybody. Thank you so much, Mercy B. And if you folks have never been to the channel before, please subscribe to the channel. That's one of the reasons we're doing we're going to do the pumpkin thing all weekend, and Sunday is going to be a big one, because that's going to be a total pumpkin show from the time I get up until, let's see, seeds. I'm going to sort the pumpkin seeds because I'm going to make pumpkin seeds this afternoon. I might, like I said, I'm just kind of hanging out. I'm getting ready for the weekend show, so I'm kind of messing around with these particular seeds. The Connecticut pumpkin is not a great one for like cooking with and culinary dishes, but it's one of those pumpkins that's real hardy that you can grow about anywhere. They don't get as big as the jack-o'-lantern ones, but they still they're good. They're like an all-around pumpkin. They're really good for cutting pumpkins and making jack-o'-lanterns out of. Yeah, so yeah, we're going, I want my pumpkin patch back because I want fresh pumpkin bread. Yeah, that's one of the things Sunday that I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make myself some pumpkin bread and all that. All right, so there's my breakfast. Right here, there's my breakfast. And I'm out of bread. That's one of the reasons I'm making English muffins, because I don't subscribe to buying the bread at the store too often, unless it's absolutely necessary. But anyway, so I've got my eggs out of the way, got that done, and then we'll bring over our seeds. I got to grab a couple bowls because I'm going to separate these bad boys, and we'll get those ready to dry. I forgot to set my timer. I've got the pumpkins in there. The first pumpkin in there at 375 roasting. That honestly looks so good. Stems and seeds. Yeah, stems and seeds that you don't need. And not the way the song used to go. The Cheech and Chong song. Yeah, stems and seeds that you don't need. Let's see, move my butter out of the way and we'll get a couple bowls over there. Thank you very much though. That was one, when I started doing cast iron about 10 years ago, that was one of the big things that I really wanted to get right, was eggs. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to get to cast iron, because I I was sick and tired of how eggs came out in other stuff. So I'm gonna dump this into my first round of pumpkin guts. I'm gonna put that into this, and it's a lot of guts and not many seeds. That's one of the drawbacks of the Connecticut pumpkin, Connecticut field pumpkin. And you can see, if you guys can see it actually, they're not that big. The seeds are not that big as far as pumpkin seeds go. But I've got all these pumpkins, so I might as well use them. And pumpkin seeds are delicious. And I'm gonna do a few different ways. I'm gonna do a standard recipe for the seeds at some point, and then I'm gonna try and recreate my mom's pumpkin seeds that she used to do when I was a kid, because those were my favorite. And she didn't really do a heck of a lot to them. She just put them on a tray with butter. And that's the other thing that I was kind of hoping for today is I want pumpkin seeds. Been craving them for months. Yeah. Do you now, Ozark? Do you cut the shells off, or do you leave them on? Like, and you make like some people make what's called, I guess they call it a pepita, which is just the green part. I don't do that. I just put the whole thing. I eat the whole thing because I'm kind of a hog like that, which I think that's really the way they should be eaten. Some ketchup. Gotta have some ketchup. Yeah, I leave them on. Yeah, I do too. I totally leave them on. But yeah, so I'm gonna get a couple bites of this to get a couple bites of my stuff, and then we'll get started. Get started on separating these seeds up. But yeah, I haven't eaten anything. I've been up since like 5:30 and I haven't eaten a darn thing yet. This hash brown's good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to pumpkin pie this weekend. Absolutely. But yeah, if you guys can see these, there's a lot of this is real stringy as opposed to being like, but the strings on them so far, this is the second one I've opened up, not today, but the strings on these are really they're real short. They're not as long as the sugar pie ones and the jack-o'-lantern breed. The strings are real short, so they really, it wasn't hard, and they're soft. I was really surprised how soft the inside of these are. I forgot about that from last year, how soft the insides are. They scraped out really easy. So yeah, pretty rad, if you ask me. And that's just if you ask. I don't like it when it's just the pit of the seeds. The flavor, I gotcha. I get you. Yeah, just let me grab a couple bites and then I'll start kind of going back and forth. I just had to get something in my stomach. The eggs are good. Then like cast iron eggs over easy with some butter, salt and pepper. That's all you need. Good way to start your day. Even though my day has been started for a while. I'm not sure what time it is. What time is it? About 12:30. Yeah, I've been going for a little while today. But I did get the muffins done. And I got I got the sourdough, that wasn't the great pumpkin, was it? Oh yeah. I'm that guy. Linus is gonna be crying because of me. I always wondered if that was from something that actually happened, like a real thing, like if the Great Pumpkin was a real thing that they just adapted to that story, or if it was something that was just made up for the story. but I don't think about it enough to actually look it up. Okay. I'm gonna quit pigging here in a second, then we'll get started. All right. $12:41, Route 83, Harrisburg time. Yeah, that's where it is roughly here. But yeah, Handsome, so I'm glad you could show up, hang out for a little bit. Like I said, I didn't really have a big thing, a point to anything. I'm just playing with the pumpkins, carving them up and testing everything out, playing around in the kitchen. So let's get started on separating these up. Can you guys in the shot at all? There we go. But yeah, and my mom said when she was doing them, and I remember this a lot from her doing her seeds when we were kids, that she just rinsed them off. Now I've tried boiling them a few times, and that doesn't really do a lot, and because it's supposed to make them crispier, but I don't think it made it any crispier. But my mom, it's been a long time since we lived on our farm, and I asked her exactly how she used to do them. And I got the same answer when I asked her how to make jelly. She just doesn't remember anymore. It's been 25 years since we lived out there. 25 years since I lived at home. And she just doesn't remember that. But she said she doesn't necessarily clean them that great. And I remember that there were like the crispy pumpkin bits that used to be on everything, a little bit here on the edges, and that was always pretty tasty, actually. GH, what's up, buddy? How are you? Thanks for coming in and modding for me. I appreciate that. I didn't want to bother you because I thought you'd be at work today, and I don't want to disturb anybody. And generally this time of day I don't have too many people that come in and cause a bunch of havoc that I can't handle. But it is nice if somebody's out there, especially during this, because this is gunky work. I'm not going to pull all of them, because these are, it's different when you have a backyard. I just grew these behind my house. I just took up about a foot, like around the backside of my house, because that's where the sun is. There's about a foot that doesn't grow any grass. It's just kind of dry. And so every year at the end of it, like in another couple weeks when I fully take my garden down, I'm going to take my garden soil and I'm going to run it along the back of my house. So it's going to be the used soil back there. And then I plant watermelons and pumpkins. This year was the first year for watermelon that I did. And it was not, the watermelons didn't do very good, to be honest. But I have rhubarb back there too that grows, that comes back every year. Check the comment section. Working but watching, good. I'd hate to see anybody fully concentrate on their job. Because when I was working, I never did. I'm more concentrating on these pumpkins. And this silly dog thinking that she's going to get something down here. I don't think she doesn't realize she doesn't like pumpkin seeds, but raw pumpkin. But I am going to keep some of this puree back and throw it in the freezer to add to her dog food. Because the dog gets regular kibble dog food, but she gets a lot of additives in it. Because unlike some dogs, this dog actually likes dog food, as long as I get the right one. Purina True Instinct is what she gets. So Purina, if you're out there watching and you want to donate some dog food, that's what she gets. The venison and lamb, I believe. She's a venison kind of gal. Let's see here. Some of these I'm not going to worry about because they're flat. Because my pumpkins, that's one thing that one of the reasons I kind of was worried about cracking these open on Sunday and then ended up with a bunch of underdeveloped pumpkins, because these are a second round. The first round of my pumpkins didn't go, Very well. Well, I gotta head out on the road. Great talking with you, and have a great day, everybody. Yeah, Ozark, if you want to come back, just subscribe and hit the put your notifications on. So I'm on every Thursday night at 8 o'clock for the usual stream, and Sunday mornings generally at 11 a.m. But this week I'm kind of promoting the Sunday pumpkin thing. Having our own little pumpkin festival. We'll be making everything pumpkin on Sunday. Might even make pumpkin pancakes. Somebody sent me a recipe for, a friend of mine sent me a recipe for pumpkin waffles. So maybe pumpkin waffles. I don't want to set the itinerary because I don't know for sure, but it'll be pumpkin. There'll be a lot of pumpkin going on. There we go. It's like milking a cow, kind of. I was watching a homestead channel a few weeks ago, and there was a guy on there that was milking his goats, and I said, "Hey, you're milking those goats all wrong." And he was like, "You're probably from the city and you don't know anything about milking cows anyway, so shut up." I was like, I've milked quite a few cows in my day. Never a goat, but quite a few cows. And you don't pinch. You use your whole hand. You don't use your pincher. You use the whole hand to work it. Let's see here. Subapalooza, yeah, Subapalooza for sure. Because we're really close. I mean, we've hit a lot of. The channel's hit a lot of new ground that I wasn't actually even expecting. I mean, the one thing that we're lacking is subscribers. Other than that, the views are incredible. So, kind of wanted to see if we could get the subscribers to go along with the views. Well, we'll see what we can do on Sunday. If not, we'll keep doing it. I do it just because I like to do it. I started out, everybody knows the history of it. It started out as kind of a bet for a recipe, and then people kept showing up, and after a while, more and more people showed up. So I don't mind doing it because I cook with cast iron every day, all day, and so I don't mind showing everybody what I'm doing because I would be doing it anyway. You guys are kind of you guys are here, because I'm going to do this anyhow, so I might as well have people hang out with me while I do it. So, there we go. Let me check the picture, you guys okay in there with the picture? Sometimes the camera stand. I'm due for a new camera stand. And I wanted to give a shout out to Old Man with a Pan. I got the sourdough starter stirs that, and say that 5 times fast, the sourdough starter stirs that he donated to the channel, which was very nice. I got those yesterday. And I actually used them this morning and last night when I fed my starter. And when I'm done with this first round of this, I'll go show you the dough for the English muffins. I might end up having the English muffins. Tonight we're doing chili, and I know we just did chili a week or two ago, but that was my Graham's chili, and I really wanted my chili after having Graham's chili's awesome, and it was kind of a good nostalgic meal to make, but I've been wanting my chili, which is completely different than Graham's. And the one thing that along for the ride, yeah. Thanks, Greg. But yeah, and the one thing that I did wrong when I did Graham's chili is when my mom watched it, she said that Graham always used light red beans, and that's why they always called it brown chili, because once they finally cooked it down, it was brown. And that's what I even said that. I said, yeah, the color is kind of off. And she said, yeah, because you used the wrong beans, so it is what it is. But I think people show up more for to watch the cast iron be used than they do to actually get the recipes. So, but if you do my Graham's chili recipe, use light kidney beans. And the Joan of Arc ones, that was the other thing. She always used Joan of Arc, and I didn't remember that. I just grabbed beans. I forget which ones I always get. I always get the same ones, but they're a different color. It's the color of the can. I can't remember what they are until I look at it. But I don't think they're Joan of Arc. And sometimes I just get the generic store, the store brand. But yeah, so there we go. But with these, there are quite a few underdeveloped ones, but there's not. These are pretty small. So that's the con, as they would say, of the Connecticut field pumpkin. They don't have the big fat seeds, but I've got some big fat pumpkins out there that I'm gonna crack open too. So that might have a little more to do. That might be something. The pumpkin that you guys saw at the beginning is the one that the seeds came out of. So I know some of you guys missed that because I threw those in because I had the oven ready to go. Let's see. And we're still sorting. Let me see if I can get to some of this big pulp. We're getting down to the bottom. Let me see if I can just get some of the pulp out. And the sheep in the pasture behind me don't realize it, but they're about to get a pumpkin delicacy this afternoon of all this extra pumpkin. And sheep love pumpkin. A lot of people don't realize that, but sheep actually love pumpkin. And it's really good for them, as it's good for everybody else. Pumpkin's kind of one of those underappreciated superfoods. Let's see, anything going on in the comment section? Subapalooza. Yeah, not much going. Yeah, a lot of people are working and watching. That's all right. I'll run my gab. Or gob, as they say, one or the other. Yeah, we're getting to the bottom of it. So far, that's not a bad amount of seeds. It's probably about a tray's worth. But I'm going to be doing this till it's time to do this. I'm going to be working on this garden until it's time to do the live stream. Because at some point, when I stop doing this, I'm going to go out and I got to run a stringer across the garage with some twine so I can pull up all my herbs on Saturday, because Saturday is going to be, I think, the last of the warm weather for where I'm at. And it's supposed to get, every time I check the weather, it's getting warmer. It started out, it was going to be 70, 78, then it went to 79, now it's at 85. So that's going to be a good day for me to go out and clear that garden out, and it's supposed to be really nice on Saturday. And I don't stream on Saturday, so that's going to be the day that we play ball out there. Let's see. We're going to make a batch of venison chili. Man, that sounds good. I quit hunting a few years ago, and I really miss venison. I really, really do. And the farm raised stuff is not near as good as the field raised stuff and the woods raised stuff. That is a lot better. Lot better. Okay. Got down to about the nitty gritty here with this first one. And then we'll soak this in some salt water. Add some salt water to these and let them soak in that for a minute or two. But I'm kind of going to do like my mom said and just not really rinse them all that great. I'm going to let the stuff that's on there kind of be on there, except for the real stringy stuff that I don't need. You guys still see that okay? Yeah. Maybe I'll move that up just a little bit more, because I've pretty much gotten about to the end of this. And I've got about 24 minutes before I pull the first pumpkin out. I probably ought to readjust my racks, and I could do 2 at a time instead of 1. Let's see, get these in there. And then I'll get some cool water and put some salt in it and make sure there's nothing. Oh, I'm sitting there throwing my stuff in there, not paying attention. Anything different about making Bambi chili versus Ferdinand chili. I don't know what Ferdinand chili is. Yeah, I don't know what Ferdinand chili is. Forgive my chili ignorance, but I don't. Imagine you're talking about beef chili, maybe. But I just think it has a totally different flavor. I just think venison has its own flavor. And I used to really enjoy going and picking out getting myself a couple deer every year. But since I don't have my farm anymore, I don't have anywhere to hunt. Okay, so there we go. Let's pick out the rest of the real stringy stuff in this. And then I'll get some filtered water out after I rinse my hands off. Ferdinand the bull. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought you meant. That's what I kind of thought you were talking about, but I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if that was what it was or like a brand of chili. Ferdinand wasn't that Looney Tunes? I'm thinking. The one that liked the flowers, like to sit and smell the flowers and stuff. People don't know what they're missing not watching Looney Tunes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Looney Tunes, if I remember right. Fill these up. We'll add a little salt. And I do find that adding the salt ahead of time, that's one thing I have picked up on doing pumpkin seeds. Silly Symphonies, and they made a movie a few years ago. Oh, okay. Roger that. But I have figured out that putting some salt on there does make them crispier in the very end, which is really what it's all about, right? Crispy. We'll stir that salt into there. Doesn't take a bunch. There we go. Oh, I got that out of there. Then I threw it back in. See if we can get some of that out of there with the whisk. There we go. That out. These extra. There we go. There we go. Yeah, some of those are pretty small. Like that one. That's not even, there's nothing in it. You can't get some more of that stringy stuff out. Yeah, Halloween's coming up, man. I'm digging it. I love Halloween. And if you haven't went to the community post and checked out, I'm trying to figure out what to give out for Halloween this year, so I'm taking suggestions in the community post. So if you have any ideas, drop them in there. Pretty sure Handsome Stone suggested Oreos, which that's not a bad one. And usually, like I said, in the community post, I usually give out like the mini bags of pretzels and chips and combos and stuff like that. And my kids always tell me I'm lame for doing that, but when it's all said and done, those are the things that are gone first. There we go. Good way to get out the last bits of that and let those set aside. And like that. Okay. Let's see. I use ground. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, and there's a lot of people that, you know, even with just beef, they put sausage in it. I've never done that. When I've made ground venison chili before, I have done like a 50-50. And with the beef and all that stuff. But I've never added sausage to my chili. And tonight will be, what I like about the chili I'm going to make tonight is it's a really healthy version of chili, which a lot of people, you know, I think chili is one of those things that's really healthy that people don't take advantage of. Single, what's up? How are you? I just saw you a little bit ago, watching trains and watching Heather on vacation in Portugal. She looks like she's having a famous time over there. Okay, so let these sit off to the side. What to do? I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. to be super transparent, I really didn't think that far ahead. I was more thinking about just that one. I am well, but more importantly, how are you? Are you well? I'm just playing with pumpkins and eating. Yeah, I would have never. Portugal is one of those places I would have never thought of went to on vacation. But I'm in the United States, so I'm not sure how far she is away from Portugal. Kind of like when we were watching Hazy, when Hazy went to Spain, and then he was there in like a couple hours. I was like, wow, for me to go to Spain, I would have to, that's like half my vacation would be spent going back and forth. Got to get some sardines. Sardines for just to eat, or or something to make with them? What are we talking there, my friend? Nothing wrong with some sardines. I like sardines. There we go. Sorry, I'm just over here wiping my pan off after my eggs were on there. I'll clean it proper later. Let's see. Maybe 2. Only 3 hours from Ireland. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. So, yeah, see, where I'm at, if I flew for 3 hours, that would get me to about maybe St. Louis. Maybe St. Louis, maybe Maryland. It wouldn't get me. It wouldn't get me too far across. It wouldn't get me too. But I live in America. People don't realize we have 11 time zones. It's a huge place. So, let's see how. I think these are going to be all right. Let these sit in that salt water for a minute, and then we'll drain these off, and then I'll get these onto a sheet so they can dry. That'll be the next big step. I got 15 minutes or so till the pumpkins are roasted. They're starting to change color. I am going to put a little. I'm not going to show because I don't want to try and put the camera around over there. But I'm going to throw a little bit for the last 15, 20 minutes that these pumpkins have. I'm going to throw a little bit of water on there to steam those pumpkins and help the skin come off of them. Kind of a little scalding trick somebody showed me. A little bit of steam on there, and let that get on there. Just a little bit of water, and that helps the skin come off when you peel them. My mother-in-law in Singapore just now takes 9 hours from the UK. Oh, okay, cool. My mother-in-law in Singapore just now took 9 hours from the UK. Oh, so your mother-in-law went to Singapore from the UK? Did I read that right? As I was walking by the monitor. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's cool. See, I would have never thought to go to Singapore either. I never leave my house. Like it's weird. I've accommodated my life to have so much I work so much to get everything in my house like that I want like in life that I've found that I never leave my house now. Oh, you're in Scotland. Okay. I was going to ask you that the other day. I was going to ask you like what part of. I knew you were in that region. You know where I looked at a house? I looked at a house the other day in Shetland. I saw a documentary on Shetland about 3 or 4 months ago, and I've been completely intrigued by Shetland. And I actually looked at a house in Shetland, online of course, Oh, you're in Glasgow. Okay. And but yeah, I totally looked at a place in Shetland the other day. A few places. I was online house hunting because I'm trying to decide where I'm going to retire to. I wanted to retire to Ukraine at one point, but I don't think I want to. I don't think that's going to work out the way I think it's going to work out. To be completely honest. Let me get a pan out, and we'll put that down. I'm going to drain. But yeah, so I've thought about. I'm definitely thinking about Shetland. You've never been to Shetland? It looks it looks beautiful. I know that I'd have to. I'm not big on airplanes, but I think if I really wanted to get serious about it, I'm thinking about taking a flight over to Scotland and checking these places out because it's just absolutely beautiful there. Absolutely, from what I've seen. But I want to see it in real life. But I think a house by the sea would be awesome. And it would get me away from what I'm trying to get away from here in the United States. Let's see. Check out Loch Lomond. Loch Lomond. Okay. Yeah, Shetland is very small. It's very, very, very small. Super, super small. Very small population. And actually the population is declining from what it used to be when it was when it was a really big farming community. Let me drain off these seeds and we're going to lay those out. Or bell lock for houses. Okay. But yeah, like I said, at one point I really looked at the Ukraine to retire into, and I looked at Mexico, and I looked at a place in Brazil to move to retire to retire, which will be quite a few years. I still have a long time, but I wanted to kind of once I got to that point, I wanted to have the property paid for that I was going to. If that makes any sense. So let's set these down here, and we'll dab these off a little bit with a cloth. Get a tea towel and kind of get these handled. Find an old one because I know these are going to stain my tea cloth. Take and clean that off of there. Dry these up. There we go. And this will be a while before it dries. But I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I have a fan going. So I'm going to set these off to the side, and then fan these down. But yeah, I thought about maybe if I got a place in Shetland, I could maybe get like an acre to go along with it, and I could be semi self-sufficient if the land's already set up to farm in some ways, like already has fruit trees and such. So I don't need much. Don't need a whole lot to get by on. Some livestock, some fruit trees, and at least 4 to 5 months to grow something. That's about all I need. 'Cause I can grow all kinds of things indoors. All kinds of things indoors. Ask my college roommates, they'll tell you I could grow a lot of stuff. Maybe they weren't supposed to. HP, good. Michael Rawlings, how are you? Good to see you. But yeah, if you could ask my old college roommates, I could grow all kinds of stuff indoors. To everyone's benefit. Except for maybe the law. There we go. Okay, those will be sitting. I'll set those off to the side. And I only have 9 minutes till the other ones come out, and then I got to mess with it. So I'm going to let those sit there for a second. And I'm going to bring my food processor into the house. Oh, brother, hope you are. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm doing okay. I'm playing with pumpkins, hanging out in the kitchen. My natural, and this is like my natural environment, is in this little like 4-foot space. If it were a little later in the day, I'd be having a beer, but I got a little while before that all happens, if at all today. Get my food processor. And you guys have heard me complain about my food processor, which I absolutely despise, but it's the only one I have. And I'm missing the one piece to it. I don't know what happened to it. This is a CD Live, yeah. It's pretty seedy around here. Yeah, I'm just catching up on reading the comments. Seem to be talking nicely amongst yourselves, which is generally the way it works around here. Generally. But, I mean, oh, I got a seed sitting there. When I pulled out to get this out there, I found in my the storage unit under your stove, there was a pumpkin seed sitting in the very back that must have made its way from last year. And I'm gonna pull that out, not right now, but I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna start it, see if it grows. Gotta go to dinner. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks, Amy, for showing up. Please hit the like button on your way out. I would definitely appreciate that. Are you gonna try and do any flavors or just plain? You know, I never thought to do any flavors, but so far just salt and butter. My mom said when she did these, I said, did you like melt the butter and like run it through everything? And she said that she just like put dollops of butter on there, and then halfway through she would like flip them over, and then she would do them on a really low heat. So, and since I've been trying to see, the thing of it is, I've been trying to redo a lot of the recipes that I grew up with, like my mom's recipes, my grandma's recipes, my grandma's recipes, my aunt's, and things like that. Even my dad's chili, or my dad's beans, like baked beans. And the problem is a lot of times they don't remember how they did them, or they're just not here anymore to know. So I gotta play with all that stuff to get it to to kind of get it to where I'm wanting to get it to. I'm gonna re-dab these again. I'm gonna do the other side while I'm thinking about it, because if I don't, I'm not gonna get it. Nope, there's the leaf collector, who I neglected to leave leaves out for. But I was gonna mow today, but I think I'm gonna mow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna mow tomorrow, and then they'll get them on Monday. Which they were nice enough the other day to come in. It was kind of funny. The leaf collector came, and I'd called the city to see if they took garden waste, and they said they don't, but they would. And so I put all my pumpkin vines and garden waste alongside the road. And the dogs started barking when they showed up, and I thought somebody might be at the door. So I went to see who was out there, and I had used a machete to take down all the, to cut the vines up. And I lost this machete. I didn't know where the hell it went. And as I was seeing who was out there, one of the guys that was picking up the leaves and the garden waste and the leaves, picked the machete up off the ground and was kind of like, what the hell is this doing here? And I yelled out the window. I was like, hey, just hold on to that. And I must have left it in the bin, into the leaf bin, and lost it because I couldn't find it. I was looking all over the place. And since I have CRS, which you figure that out on your own, that since I have CRS, I thought maybe it'd just show up in the garage. So he found my machete, which I was so glad, because it had been sitting out there for like 4 days. And I'm so glad that like one of the kids passing by didn't, riding by on a bike or walking their dogs or something, find this machete that I left out and start doing damage with it. Okay, so I'm gonna set these off in front of the kitchen, in front of the stove. and go from there. I have a 2 HP. Yeah, man, I do. And you know, the thing that I notice the most is I walk out to the garage, and the one thing that I do all the time that's super weird is that I go to the garage and I go out there. It's every time I go to get the dishwasher pods for the dishwashing machine, and I'll walk out there and I forget every time why I'm out there doing it. Every single time. Probably, I don't know. Maybe I should go look, talk to the doctor. But yeah, that's like my one. That's like my kryptonite is the Cascade pods for out in the garden or for out in the dishwasher. See, I just said it. I did it again. Losing my mind. But out of all the things I've lost in my life, my mind's not the thing I worry about the most. My hair was. I had great hair. Now I just have gray hair. Let me see here. So we got that off to the side. Let me go grab. I'm gonna grab another pumpkin real quick. Watch out, people. There we go. And here's our next victim. That's about the average size of, you guys can see that or not? Dogs follow you and get confused also. Yeah, they probably, yeah, my dog does. And you know, after a while, like if I'm really looking for something I can't find, and the dog's following me, absolutely drives me insane. Absolutely drives me nuts when my dog does that. Like if I've misplaced my car keys or my wallet and I'm looking all over for it and the dog is following me, sometimes it's just like, all right, you need to quit following me everywhere. Because after a while, but yeah, these are, put a pop can up next to it or whatever, but yeah, you can kind of tell the size. This is about the average size of the pumpkins. Most of them, the first round, they were all about this size. The second round of pumpkins, they grew later in the year, grew up till right now, a couple weeks ago. They were way bigger. This is one of the smaller ones. So I'm trying to use up the smaller ones because I'm hoping that they'll taste a little bit better and not so thin as the bigger ones got. Yeah, it's a good size. I mean, if you were going to carve a pumpkin for the front patio, you know, that's not a bad size for a pumpkin. And they came out mostly, and they look pretty good. They look like, you know, jack-o'-lantern style. So bring that one over there. But I'm getting ready to test the flesh on these, and I don't think that they're going to be ready yet. I'm gonna I started at 375, but I'm gonna go to 400 and kind of a medium temperature. I'm gonna go to 410, and hopefully that gets me somewhere. I would show off my pumpkin carving skills, but I have none. My pumpkins are always the square eyes and the mouth, maybe with teeth, and that's about it. I'm more about the seeds in the pie, to be honest. And if you see, like on my community post, the pumpkins that everybody sees on there, that my youngest daughter did those. She's actually the artistic. Well, all my daughters are really artistic, but she's the one that really gets into carving up the pumpkins. I'm gonna give that another 10 minutes for the timer. There we go. And I'm gonna raise the temperature on them. So I want those to kind of blister up a little bit. There we go. Message held for review. Uh-oh. Somebody's in trouble. Watch out. Watch out. And I'll wait to, let me see, I can go ahead, I'm gonna rinse this one off. I'm gonna put this in the sink, I'm gonna hit it with vinegar and all that. And as I usually do for every live stream, have a good day, I have to go. Rick says hello. Thank you, Mercy B. Thank you so much for stopping in and saying hello. And tell Rick hello back. Appreciate you showing up. Yeah. So, I'm going to move my scraps out of the way and all that and rinse this plate off. I'm going to rinse this plate off real quick so I can put that into the dishwasher. Then I have a clean sink. Then I got a clean side of my sink I can mess with. There we go. And the fork. Let's sneak underneath you guys. Down in the dishwasher. All right, there we go. All right. So I can move that over there into the other side where the pumpkin guts are. Move this to where the pumpkin guts, make that the designated pumpkin guts area. Some kind of some assimilation of organization here. And take this and I'll wash that off. There we go. Doesn't have to be super clean. Just the basics. And I was hoping that I could pull that other one out and then we could get started on this next one. Because I want to do two. I want to at least do two during this stream. And we're at what? About 20 after 1. So, got a little bit. So we get our bowls back out for the guts. And the big knife. And the cutting board. There we go. That really bugs me that the cutting board's dry. Just changing the oil on your truck. Yeah, you can stop here and change the oil on in my car. It needs it. I just got oil yesterday or the day before. Yeah, when I was in town, I got oil. So I got to change my oil too. Time to winterize the cars. There we go. Yeah, it definitely needs it. Glad you're stopping in, Rick. Good to see you. We've been going at this. We've been going at this already an hour. Wow, I'll be darned. Okay, I've got about 6 minutes on those, and I'm hoping that steam helps with getting those over there. And we'll bring the other pumpkin. We'll bring that next pumpkin up to be dismantled. There we go. Bring that pumpkin up now. It's washed. I'll dry it off so it's not slippery. Uses my oil for cooking. Cara. I don't know what cara is. Cara. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Wipe this down. Don't want to. So I just sharpened my knife, which I'm going to sharpen again here in a second. And I don't want it slipping off. I don't have my, what do they call it, chainmail? The chainmail armor on that they use at the butcher shops, which I didn't know that till not long ago, that they all wear chainmail under those aprons so they don't accidentally stab themselves with these huge knives, which that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's a great idea, using the chainmail. Something that's thousands of years old, still using it today. There we go. All right, voila. You wrong. All right. So I've got about 5 minutes on that other thing, so we can go ahead and start cracking into this one. Hopefully Val's not here, or she'd be having a heart attack watching me do this. with my knife. And everybody wonders why my knife is always, oh, I was going to sharpen it. I'm going to sharpen my knife, and I almost forgot. Why my knives are always so dull, because I just sitting around and it's like a restaurant in this place. All I do all day is cook, play with cast iron. I'm either cleaning it, or buying it, or selling it, and cooking. That's why my knives are always in such poor repair. Okay. Get that in there, through there. Yeah, see that? That's sharp. There we go. Turn it around to the other side and get that into here. There we go. And then one for the money on the top to get that one piece out. There we go. Make that one a little longer. Just a bit. There we go. And one right along there. Should be able to pull that out. One side wants to get me. That one corner. There we go. There we go. There we go. Lots of stuff in there. Put that in our soon to be deseeded part. Cut that off. Put that in a scrap bucket for the sheep. And pull this out. There we go. One pumpkin. Now see how these are, the seeds in here, they're not dense like the ones you get at the store, like the jack-o'-lantern style. These field ones are a lot smaller. The seeds are a lot smaller. It's a lot denser in here. But these are really easy to scrape out. That is one nice thing about them, is they scrape out really, really easy. IPA, what's up, buddy? What's going on with you? Thanks for saying hi. Jump into the conversation. Tell us what's going on, where you're hitting this up from today. I'll set that one off to the side there. Get out the blue streak and start working this stuff out of there. That's slippery. Wipe that off. There we go. Oh, and I'm going to cut that piece out too, because I don't need to cook that piece. So we'll just take that right on out of there. And we'll cut that off to save for the seeds. And throw that in there. Alright. Throw that in a good seed part. That in the part to go through. And there we are. And away we go. We'll just get in there and start loosening that up. Got about another minute before we check the pumpkin that's in the oven. There we go. Loosen it up a smidge, and we'll start gutting it out. A lot of people use ice cream scoops to do this. All my ice cream scoops, they have the clicker on the side, the release button, so they really kind of suck for scraping out pumpkin guts. I need one of those one of the old ones that just has the what do you call it? Just the scoop itself. Yeah. There we go. But see what I mean? They scoop out. These scoop out really, really well. They don't take. It doesn't take much to get them scooped. All right. What sign says that I probably have to move this out of the way for a second and grab a trivet. So we'll set that up there. Move this off to the side. And we'll bring this out and we'll check it. Check the skin on that and make sure that it's all okay, all correct. There we go. Is that centered up fairly well? Yeah, I think so. Well enough. And get some oven mitts. I'm definitely going to need 2. Yeah, Beaks. She's running around. Okay. Let's see if these peel or not. Peel or no peel? Go on, Beagle. Get back. Get. You're not getting nothing. There's nothing you want. Nothing you want. So let's see how the skin is. Now I gotta let these cool as well. But if you can tell, I put that, they're steaming pretty decent. They're hotter than fire, which is what we want. Move this back just a pinch so you guys can get a look at all that. Try to keep you, I know when I first started doing these live streams, I had everything real far back, but I realized that you guys couldn't see anything. So I've tried to change my ways, so to speak. But I think I'm gonna do with that little knife right there. Check and see if this stuff sort of flakes, if the skin's ready to come off or not, how well it peels. Which I don't think this is ready yet. It should peel fairly decent. Yeah, it's not one to, I don't think they're quite done. This one seems to be a little better on the one side, but I'll make a little thing in here and see how if it peels or not. Yeah, I'm going to give this a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time in there. Yeah. Maybe 5 more minutes. I think 375 was a little low to do it. Move that with the paper. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Move it with the paper. But yeah. Yeah, I think we'll give that just a little bit. It's about 5 more minutes, and then we'll be ready to play ball with that. Because they should be a little more like sunk looking, as I recollect from last year. There we go. Okay. 5 more minutes, and that'll be it. Because they're starting to wrinkle on the front of this one. Not so much on this one. That's when you know that they're kind of, that's when at least I know. I'm no pumpkinologist. So, put those back in there for 5 minutes. And then we'll set them out on the patio to cool off. And we'll go from there. Alright, timer, 5 more minutes. There we go. And I should probably put the steam on there to begin with. Alright, let's see, check comments. A whole lot of nothing. I think people are watching and working, kind of as I'm doing. And we'll go back to peeling these out. But yeah, these definitely peel real easily. Did you find a pumpkin seed, Beagle? That should be good for you. That's good for you. Plenty good. Okay. But yeah, that stuff, they scoop out really nice. Plus the blue streak I'm using, that helps a lot too. These things, if you ever see these for sale on eBay, these old vintage blue streak spoons, you want to have these to go into the zombie apocalypse. They're great. Made by the Cleveland something. Yeah, the blue streak, and they're made by a Cleveland. It's a Cleveland company that made it, and I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, you can always see it on this part here. Get it up close and personal. You can see that the blue streaks, man, these things are, I'm telling you, zombie apocalypse weapons. take this, kind of dig that little bit out. It's down there. And there we go. There we go. And like I said, we're doing these pop-ups. Normally I don't stream during the daytime, except on Sundays, but putting it out there that we are doing it all day, all morning, Eastern time. Pumpkin show. Pumpkin stream. Making all kinds of pumpkin stuff with all kinds of cast iron, vintage and new. And new, I mean Lodge, Smithy, Stargazer, if at all needed. And so that one's cool. I'll take that as far as that one goes. I'll take that and we'll swap it spots and bring the other one up and get that one ready. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. I think the beagle's fine. Oh no, she's got a bone. I thought maybe there for a minute I was dropping seeds and she was having a snack on the seeds. I don't think that'll hurt her any. Pumpkin's good for dogs. I don't know if pumpkin seeds are good for dogs, but I'm not in a position right now to Google it and find out. She found another one. There we go. Check the comments if there are any. Let's see, I think I do have something. Do you ever think you would have your own program from your kitchen? 1,000 folks watching you dig into pumpkin. No, I never did. I always, like I said, when I first started doing this, it was cast iron history over the ones I had, of the stuff I had, and those did okay. Those videos did really well. But when I first did the live, and then when Luis quit doing his live on Thursdays, people started coming back to want me to do these lives, and to think that people were coming to watch me actually cook instead of restoring 100-year-old cast iron, which, we'll have those. In the wintertime, we'll have those, because that's usually a lot of times when I do restore the cast iron. In summertime, I'm pretty lazy. I mean, I don't really mess a lot with, I usually just buy old cast iron in the summertime, and then in the wintertime when there's nothing to do, but sit in the garage and drink beer and watch movies. That's when I restore all my cast iron. So, and with Ming with Ming not here this year, there'll probably be a lot more of that. I'll have a lot more free time instead of having her here, who was homeschooling and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll take this bottom piece out. Because if I don't take it out, I'll just forget about it. Take that out of there. But yeah, these peel out really good, man. Like super, super good. But I've always cooked, going back to that, Greg, I've always cooked. I've always been intrigued by I always spent a lot of time in the kitchen. And, I was always watching what the kids ate, so I started to cook when they were little. And I always cooked when I was, when I was younger, like, as a young guy just getting started in life, I didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to eat good, so I just learned to make stuff. And plus, I grew up in a kitchen with my mom. My mom always cooked, my grandma always cooked, my grandma always cooked, and so I kind of picked up how to do it, and I learned that at a young age that I wanted to eat good food, and so there was just kind of no. And the funny thing is, when I was in college, all my roommates were culinary students, except for me. And I just never liked the hours. I never liked the hours of the kitchen. I thought it was cool what they were doing, but I never liked kitchen hours. So I'm going to move that back off the side again. We'll grab this up, put the trivet back. Trivet back up there. We'll take a look at those, and then I'm going to set them off to the cool. Because the one thing you do have to do with these things is you have to let them cool off. turn the oven off for right now and get my oven mitts. But you do have to let these pumpkins cool off before you start to dig out the puree and puree them. So I'm gonna let them cool off because they've been in for an hour at least. So there's that. So there's what we're looking for. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Feels real soft. That's what you want. And then we'll let these off to the side to cool. To cool off. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Greg, I was actually surprised when one person actually came to see me cook anything, let alone, gosh, all the people that do. Just pretty fun, I gotta say. That is pretty fun. Alright, now what am I going to put these other ones on? Conundrum in the kitchen. Okay, well first off we're going to move this out of the way and we're going to pick through these seeds before I go any farther with anything. That's one thing that has to happen. So, it's got to be done. And we'll cow milk these out of there. There we go. Can you guys hear the dog working? She's been working this bone like non-stop since yesterday. I don't know what it... And it's one she's had a long time. But there we go. Let me see. Check. Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, Greg. 100%. Well, I might end up running out of trays. Might have to just take a break at some point. Not anytime soon. Not in the next few minutes or anything. But to let. So I only have so many cookie sheets. I do have a lot of kitchen stuff. And I'm sitting there racking my brain, wondering if I had more sheets, but I don't know if I do, because most of my flat cookies, I use those cast iron griddles to do like cookies and all that other kind of stuff. So I don't really much use cookie sheets for anything, to be completely honest. Nothing to use them for. So, I don't. The sheep are definitely going to be getting some big snacks. There we go. He's out of there. Don't need all that at once. But yeah, boiling them, I didn't find any benefit to boiling the seeds at all. At all. I didn't find any benefit. It actually kind of made them more chewy. It was supposed to make them crisper, but it didn't. It was supposed to make them crispier and saltier, and it did neither one when I boiled the seeds to clean them. So I'm gonna skip that step. That I found, if you see those recipes, unless they're, I followed them pretty closely on how they did them, and unless I totally missed a step, I didn't see any benefit to doing that. And there's a lot of those recipes out there that say to boil them, which is why I boiled them, because I thought maybe I was missing out on something. But generally, when I just put them in and rinse them off and let them dry, they're in pretty good shape. There we go. Check the comments, see if there's anything in there. Not much. Not much going on in the comment section. Like I said, I think a lot of people are working and watching the people that are out there. And there are quite a few people out there. They're just not logged into the chat, which is okay too. Let's see, let me get a big old hunking piece. Get one of these. But I at some point, either today or tomorrow, I am going to cut up one to jackal. I've got 2 sitting out in the front of the house right now that that should be I should turn them into jack-o'-lanterns, but I have not yet. Haven't got around to it. And then I'll pick out one of the really big ones that are out there. Some of them actually, surprisingly, they got a lot bigger than the ones last year. Like a lot bigger. So I should have at least 1 or 2 to turn into, to cut 3 holes in the top and have more and mostly I'm doing it to get more pumpkin seeds before I get rid of the ones that I don't want. Pumpkin seeds, I don't know. I got to look up ways to do it that where I can really long preserve them, because I looked at even like putting them in I've got an airlock vac for jars, and it says even with that they only last about 2 weeks. I was kind of hoping I could figure out a way to do them kind of like the seeds you get from the grocery store, like the sunflower seeds and whatnot, that I could get and do that. Somebody jump in. Lay mommy, is that how you say that? Says hello to you. Hello to you. Just messing with pumpkins. That's about it. And I'll swing you over here in just a second, because if you've noticed from where I was at just a few minutes ago, you'll be able to tell that what I meant by the pumpkins starting to wrinkle. Let me do that real fast. Let me just grab these low hangers right here, and I'll rinse my hand off and I'll show you that. Yeah, we're doing another batch. We're doing a couple of these today. I wanted to see how many I could get. I wanted to see how many I could get done, because the thing of it is canning pumpkin, unless you can like chunks of pumpkin, it doesn't work out very well. You got to really mess with it, and it's not really that safe to can it. Like the puree itself, you really got to like add a lot of acid, because pumpkin's a really low acid vegetable. So you got to add like a lot of like citrus, and you got to get it right. You know, that's one of the reasons that people buy like canned puree instead of canning it at home, because to do pumpkin. Hey, get out of here! Go on, get. Squirrel. Squirrel's outside of the patio. Dog ran it off. Okay, but yeah, yeah, she's tearing over to the other. It went to the other window. But yeah, it doesn't can very good. But if you can see it over here on the back, you can see right over there. See how it's starting to wrinkle up really good? That's how you know that it's. And the longer it cools, the tighter that skin will get on there, and then it will. Then you'll be able to peel that skin off, and then you puree it. Then you just run it through the food processor, and then you'll be able to puree it. And then what I do, what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to, then I'll be able to freeze it, like freezer bags and stuff like that in containers. And then I'll have puree, like this, the basic, you know, no cinnamon or nutmeg or anything in there. Black pepper, none of that. I'll just be able to pull those out of the freezer and, you know, be able to make pumpkin pie and pumpkin stuff all winter long. And that's really the idea behind it, because canning it is a total pain in the ass, and it doesn't work out right a lot of times. You can get, there's something, it's not salmonella that you get, but there's something else that you can get from canned pumpkin, and it is not good. But yeah, it's just you can can chunk pumpkin, but if you're gonna can chunk pumpkin, then you might as well just take the next step and just let it hang out in the oven. And yeah, here I'll show you. Actually, I was gonna show you this and I forgot, but we'll go back over this way, and you can see it. But how, as it cools, as this cools up, how soft now that it's sat and it's cooling off for a minute. Maybe that's kind of pull that over a little bit more, but how soft that actually is on those sides. and it's wrinkled up, and that should, it's not ready to do it yet, it's not cooled off enough, but you should be able to, like, a lot of times if it doesn't peel off that great, I just scrape it from the inside, and then, but if it's, you know, like a sugar pie pumpkin, and that's what the other breeds are called, the other hybrids are called, is a sugar pie. The sugar pies will just peel right off. That won't be an issue. But these are field pumpkins. It's kind of like, these pumpkins are kind of like the difference between sweet corn and ear corn. It's sort of the same thing. This is like the ear corn of pumpkins, if that makes any sense at all. Ear corn is kind of the stuff that you turn into grain or feed or, you know, that kind of thing. And it's where sweet corn is what you have at, you know, have at dinner time. This is the sort of the equivalent to that, I guess you could say. But anyway, we'll go back over here to separating these seeds out. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's the big difference. And you want to get it to where, you want to get them to where you can work with it. There, and it's not cool enough to where I can just like handle it in my, you know, just like bare hand it. I'm gonna shut that door because you're gonna go through that screen here in about 2 seconds. Watch out. You're gonna go through the screen. I'm trying to get to that squirrel. I don't feel like replace. She already did rip it away. I noticed that. I've got to rescreen my patio door, because she lurches up on it all day long, and she's worked that one spot loose. So I got to rescreen that one part because she's worked it loose. So I'm just waiting for the time that she goes after these. Between the squirrels and now that, like, for the people that watch that are here regular, you know there's a sheep pasture behind me, and you can't see the sheep because of the trees and everything and the bushes, but with all the leaves falling and falling off, now you can see into that pasture. So all she wants to do, and she can see where the squirrels are in the trees. So all she wants to do is either get the squirrels or herd the sheep. And I'm afraid that if she got into that field, there's no turning back. Because I would imagine the guy that owns the field, who I don't know, would know him if I saw him. If he saw a dog running around inside of his fenced-in sheep farm, he wouldn't take too kindly to it and probably go to fairly large extremes to get that dog out of there. So she doesn't know that. She just knows that she's bred to herd sheep, and that's what she wants to do. She goes out back, and we're out there messing around in the backyard, and she's just looking at me the whole time like, just give me 5 minutes. That's all I want, 5 minutes with these squirrels and the sheep. And she's one of those, she's that type of dog to where when she gets locked into things, there's no changing her mind. And I don't want that farmer changing her mind for her. Let's see. Check this out here. There we go. You know, we're getting down to the nitty gritty of these. We might be able to put some pumpkins in to the pumpkin seeds in to the oven at this point, while the other ones, because I got to start freeing up some cookie sheets at a certain point. Those pumpkins, it'd be nice if I could set them outside onto the patio, because it's fairly cool. It's only supposed to get like 70 degrees outside at all today, so it might be a good day to do that. Just pump for the rest of them in here, and then I'll just work the rest of them out, that stringy stuff out. There we go. And there we go. All right, cool. So we'll get some more water and salt, and we'll go that route there. There we go. my hands dried off. We'll get some water and then we'll clean those out with the whisk. Whisk does a pretty good job of getting that, separating that stuff out. Enough in there to where it covers them. There we go. And then a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt in there. Get over that way, just a smidgen. Just enough to cover it. I don't need to fill that salt shaker up. There we are. Okay, and then my whisk. And we'll get those guts out of there. There we go. There we go. Yeah, those are the pumpkins that are roasted already. They seem to be looking pretty decent. That, whisk them out. Whisk this stuff out of there. Kind of like panning for gold, in a sense. There we go. But yeah, if anybody's out there, what are you guys giving away for Halloween? I'm still trying to decide what we're going to give away this year. And I'm taking all suggestions so as to not be lame. Not to give out. I'm not giving out toothbrushes. I'm not giving out toothbrushes. I'm not giving out coloring books. I'm not giving out cheap little plastic toys. But I want to do something different than the snack packs. You know what I mean? You go to like Costco or Sam's Club and you get the different Mars ones or the variety pack. I did see Zero bars. I almost got a Zero bar yesterday. Anybody ever have Zero bars? I love Zero bars. Picks of Mercy, silver dollars. That'd be great. Yeah, if I had silver dollars, that'd be. I guess I have a couple silver dollars, but if that'd be a good one. We did have this one lady back in the day, and I actually felt bad for. I even felt bad for her when I was a little kid. But she would give out pennies, a penny to everybody, and those kids, man, these kids would get those pennies and pelt the side of her house. And pelt other things with those pennies. But that was 70s and 80s, man. Kids were a lot more ruthless back then than they are today, at least on. But yeah, the one that she would give away pennies. That and everybody's grandma's paraffin would be confiscated to paraffin windows. That'd be a big rush. And which was always kind of funny because like Halloween and canning season, where I grew up, kind of they coincided, and you'd hear all the ladies that wanted to can, they'd be mad as hell because they wouldn't pick some Mercy B. Yeah, that'd be cool. I need one for my mantle. I need a picture of Mercy B for my mantle. But yeah, you'd you'd be at the grocery store and all the ladies that canned, they'd be mad as hell because they couldn't get any paraffin because all their kids stole it so they could go soap windows with it. And paraffin, if you've never soaped windows with paraffin, is the ultimate of bad stuff to soap somebody's windows with because there's no getting it off. You'd see like people out there with the old with the extension cords and hair dryers and razor blades taken into their windows when I was a kid, trying to get that paraffin off of there. And if you had somebody who had a childhood, if you had a kid that had a vendetta and a bar of paraffin, your car was toast. Toast. Okay, I think we're pretty good. On that. Nothing like the paraffin windows, man. Boy, that was something. Okay, let me drain these off and go from there. I guess I do have sitting right in front of me. I've got a strainer. Just throw them into the strainer right here. If I can get it off of there. Take it through the strainer. And voila. We'll let it sit there like that. There we go. And that's it. There's a strainer sitting right in front of my face the whole time. That's why one of the reasons I wanted to do this one today. So I kind of get some of the bugs worked out before we started doing all this stuff on Sunday. There we go. That drip down through there. Get the bugs worked out today so things on Sunday are a little smoother. Because if I'm doing this, if I'm starting this at, like, say, God knows what time in the morning, I'm going to be a little surly as it is. So I want as few bugs as possible. The bugs to be worked out as much as I can get. Are you done barking at the squirrels? No, they're not out there. I just said squirrel. There we go. These going in here. And we'll get another tray with some parchment paper. And maybe we can get 2 of these going at one time. Because I think these other ones, here's the first, I'll show you the first batch that we got. They're looking pretty dry right now, the ones we did to begin with. That's looking fairly, kind of move them around a smidge. But we'll work those. And I don't remember my mom ever putting anything down to like foil or anything. But I could be, you know, that could be the fatal flaw in what I'm trying to get done. Move these around a little bit and get them sorted out. There we go. Hey Sally, hey Sally. What's going on, Sally? How are you? There we go. All right. Get another. Grab another tray, and then we'll be officially trayed out before to put these on that tray. A little bit of parchment. Wipe that top off a little bit, as I absolutely destroyed my tea towels today. Which, I have tons of tea towels and they're all stained up. So it's not that I don't wash them, it's that I use them constantly. Doing good. What are you doing? I am making, I'm carving up pumpkins to make pumpkin puree and pumpkin seeds. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing? Yeah, that's what's going on. Check the comments real quick as I grab another. Hopefully, I don't think this one's going to be big enough. But that's the only one I have left to use. I could use a big glass one. I bet a glass one wouldn't brown as well as one of these. Yeah, that's the only one I have left. I'm kind of at an impasse, as they say. I'm at an impasse. And I can't really put any more seeds on this other one, because if I do that, then I won't have any more. So yeah, I'm sort of in an impasse here. But yeah, I'm just kind of getting some stuff. Sally, this Sunday, I'm doing a pumpkin all morning, Eastern time morning, where I'm going to be cooking and doing all kinds of pumpkin-y stuff. And so I'm just kind of letting everybody know that we're doing that Sunday, and I'm kind of working out some of the bugs. Plus, I'm trying to get rid of, I've got a ton of pumpkins, and I'm going to pick out some of the ones I want today. And then tomorrow I'm putting the rest of them out in front of the house, and people can pick up the pumpkins that I'm not going to use this year. So they can hopefully carve them up. And at some point, when these cool off, I'm going to make pumpkin puree. Let's flip these over. These are starting to get easier. But here, yeah, I just flipped this one over. So here, let's check this one out while we're thinking about it. So you can see this. I flipped that over. I wanted to see if it was ready. But I'm gonna let it cool upside down as well. But you can see how these are now. And then I'll do the same thing with this one in the back. There we go. And there we are. Haha. As somebody probably said before. So that's where we're at with those. Boom. Let's see. Pumpkin Chunkin' Party at Bashersmore. Yeah, we're going to be listening to Smashing Pumpkins all day and bringing back the grunge era, I guess. Drain that off. I don't need any more of that water in there. That was just from the water that I used to steam. But yeah, but they got to be cooled down to be able to work with them. That's the big to do. If not, I'd just start messing with them now. But you got to be able see as it cools down. You're gonna start. It's not super easy to peel, but you'll see what I'm saying. It's kind of, and if they're not easy to peel like these, because I got like these are field pumpkins. I'll just go in and we use a scraper and scrape that out and then puree that up. That's 100% fine to do too. So that's where we're at. Wolflo. Pumpkins were native to the Americas. Plant that we used to feed our cattle. Yeah, that's I'm actually taking the scraps. I've got a neighbor right behind me that has a sheep pasture. So I am throwing all the scraps over the fence because about 7 or 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock this evening, the sheep will be coming by and they'll be grazing. That's usually their time. Between 6 and 9, 6 and 8 now, I guess, that it's gotten darker earlier. So yeah. Yeah, they are a native plant. I don't know if they grow, I don't know if like in the UK they grow pumpkins. I would imagine they do. They have a lot of the same. Their grow time is a little shorter than ours, but I'd imagine they grow that stuff all over Europe and everywhere like that. Never really thought about it, to be honest. But anyway, we'll let those kind of hang out, and you can. I don't know if you guys can see the steam coming off, but they are definitely still pretty warm, and they're starting to rip, which that's cool. That is definitely cool. But once they're all the way cooled, once they're cooled down, it'll be like a potato. You know what I mean? Like once a potato kind of cools off, you can just peel the top right off of that. Wish I had something to put these on, and I just put them on there to cool. I think I will. Actually, I do. I do have something. I just got to finagle a little bit of rim. Now that I'm thinking about it. Now that I'm actually using my brain a little bit, we'll get these onto a tray, and I can let these sit off to the side. There we go. And that's what I'm going to do. Got this big tray down here. And I'll let them sit on that. And then I can go back to using this big one, and we can put the other ones in here. So let me make a space as you guys admire the pumpkin goodness for just a few seconds. And like I said, that's why we're doing this, so I can kind of work out some of the bugs of it while we're today, instead of working them out live on Sunday, which is what I didn't want to happen. So we'll put the tray over here. We'll put some parchment paper on that. And we'll put them on this big silver tray over here next to it. There we go. And I'll just move you guys right quick over to here. There we go. And I'll put these right there onto this thing. There we go. right there, and right there. And there we go. So now I can transfer my other pumpkins. Like that turtle got caught on there. And we'll put this over here. I'll knock some of that water off. And we'll go from there. Move you guys over this way. Over to here as I knock the water off of that. We want some moisture on there because we want those pumpkins to steam. A little bit of steaming. Almost like it's like a cheesecake or a loaf of sourdough bread. Let me get that steam in there. So we'll take the ones we've already done and we'll put those there. That one down there. And this one down here. Throw that onto 410. Back to 410. So I think 410 did a little better than 375. Back that up just a bit so you guys can see those. Those are some good, pretty good sized pumpkins. There we go. Check comments if there are any. Let's see. And there we are. There we go. Okay. I can put these in there. As long as they're clean, I'll do a double check, make sure they're all good and cleaned out for the most part. Cut that piece out. Yeah, I'll take that. So far, so good. All right. All right. It's back in there, oven. And we'll put these into the oven. There we go. Check and see how these are doing. Seeds are just still pretty wet, pretty damp. Try and towel these off again. There we go. Try that. And they'll probably be stuck. Yep. Oh, not too bad. So they are kind of drying up a little bit. A lot drier than the first time I did that with the tea towel. There we go. Alright. Checking it out, checking it out. There we be. I think these would almost, if my temperature wasn't so high on the, I think I'm going to change the parchment paper though too. I'm going to say if the temperature wasn't so high on the pumpkins to be in there roasting, we could put the seeds in at the same time, but I need this down at about 325 to make some halfway decent seeds, if not lower. But yeah. Pumpkins over here look really good. That's what we're after. Okay. Let's see, roasted pumpkin seeds. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm waiting on. That's what we're working toward right now. I just patted. If you just got here, Cliff, I just patted these dry, and they were sitting off to the side. I've got another batch of them over there in a bowl that are in a strainer, and I'm going to do the same thing with it. And we just put in, we put in a second pumpkin to roast. We just got these out. These two pumpkins out. They look like huge croissants now. But yeah, we just got these out so that I could use the other pan, and we'll put these on there. But I want to they're really sticky right now. So I wanted to kind of get them to where they're not so laying on top of each other. And I think I'm going to get a different piece of parchment paper. How's that going to... Yeah, and I could get another piece of parchment paper, and then we'll transfer that onto a drier piece. that'll work out a little bit better. Like I was saying, I don't remember my mom putting them. I mean, I sure as hell know we didn't have parchment paper when I was a kid. Like there, my mom wouldn't have bought parchment paper. I don't think. I mean, we had like wax paper and stuff like that, but I don't ever remember buying parchment paper. But I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. What I don't know about what my mom did, how my mom cooked in 1985 could fill this place up. That's about the right size. So, roll these up. Put those in. Make sure we get them all. And pour them out. That should be a little drier. That should help them dry out a little bit more. There we go. And I've got, I don't know how many rolls of parchment paper. Probably about as much as the restaurant. So I'm not worried about getting rid of it. Get a little wasteful with some parchment paper. Let's see, use the top of this knife maybe. Spread these around. There we go. There we go. Yeah, they're so sticky, they're just sticking to my hands. There we go. There we are. I think when I finally do them, though, I think I'm just going to put them right onto the sheet. Is what's gonna happen. There we go. All right. See how the other ones are looking. We got the other ones over here. Let's space these out a bit. They're definitely sticky. Roasted seeds. Then we got these over here. They've drained off quite a bit. So there's that. Anyway, pumpkins are cooling down pretty quickly. I mean, not enough to puree and peel them, but they're definitely coming along. That's where we're at. That's where we are. Roasted pumpkin seeds. It's been at least a year since I had pumpkin seeds. There's probably going to be a picture come up on my memories in my camera roll that'll show pumpkin seeds probably any day now. I don't know the last time I had them for sure. But yeah, I haven't had too many suggestions out there for what candy to give, what everybody's giving out for candy this year, which is kind of my biggest priority, because I know Saturday when I go into town again, that'll be the thing that I'm most after. The final countdown of Halloween is slowly or quickly coming upon us. And I think where I'm at, I think they're doing it, which is really weird, and I don't know why, but they're doing it not on Halloween. They're not doing it on Halloween Day. And sometimes we have, like, I think the kids, the high school soccer team here is really good. And I think that a lot of times that has to do with when they schedule Halloween, because the soccer kids do so well that they schedule it around it, so they won't have it on, like, a lot of times, as I remember it always being, was on like the 30th or 31st if it fell on whichever day fell on a Thursday. But ours is on a Sunday. So I think that's what a lot of it has to do with. So I don't know. Could be anything. Could be anything. All right. There we go. I forgot once again to set the timer. So I will set the timer for 40 minutes on the pumpkins. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be a minute before these are cooled down and these are dry. I think we're at an impasse at this point, to be really honest with everybody. So this might be as far as we can get at this point. Might be as far as we can go. And these might have to sit out and dry a little bit longer, for sure. All right, so I think we're kind of at this point, we're going to be done with everything and be wrapping everything up and head on out of here, because like I said, I really think we're at a spot where I can't do much else other than stare at these pumpkin seeds. So I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. If you're out there in the stratosphere and you want to come back, check out how it's going to be, check out Sunday's live stream or tonight's Thursday night regular live stream. That would be super, super cool for everybody to do. Usually we have quite a few people in the Thursday night streams and the Sunday streams. And once again, I'm just doing these pop-up videos not because there'll be a regular thing, but because kind of letting everybody know that Sunday will be the all-morning show. We will be making pumpkin everything from pumpkin pie, probably pumpkin bread, pumpkin this, pumpkin. We're going to be making pumpkin out of everything. So yeah, Ronald Coward. Yeah, definitely see me tonight. And I'm not going to pop back on to do like a reveal of the pumpkin seeds. I'll do the reveal of the pumpkin seeds tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the normal show, and show the results of the pumpkin puree. And we'll be making chili tonight. And hopefully, if the weather and the humidity works with me, then we'll be able to do English muffins to have on the side. So that'll be kind of nice instead of bread, as opposed to other stuff. So yeah, tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll show the results of all this. But like I said, we're at an impasse. It's not going to get any farther, and so that's going to be about it. So anyway, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as I always say, see ya.